Sit down, have a coffee. Let's talk about the Secondary Suite Incentive Program. So what is the Secondary Suite Incentive Program, or SSIP? Well, it's been designed for BC homeowners to create affordable secondary suites. It offers a forgivable loan up to 50% of the cost of renovations up to $40,000. The loan is forgivable in equal installments over the 5-year period, of course, if requirements are met. Now, here are the eligibility requirements. You must be the registered owner of the property, be a Canadian citizen or permanent resident. You must reside in the property as your primary residence. Combined annual income must not exceed around $209,000. It might be different per region. And here are the rental requirements for the tenants. The suite would be rented out below market rates, which is set by BC Housing. It has to be maintained as a long-term rental for at least 5 years. Annual tenant income and asset caps may apply. For details, confirm with BC Housing as well. And if you don't comply with the rental regulations under this program, the remaining balance of the loan is no longer forgivable and will have to be paid back. Now, if you feel this is a good option for you, let's dive into what is required. You want to plan for your project. So make sure you check with the area zoning. You want to get permits as well with your local city or township, hire your contractors, and arrange financing for the renovations. You're going to apply online. You would access the Secondary Suite Initiative Program portal at BC Housing, submit all your documents, including proof of residency and income, and building permits. The applications are approved on a first-come, first-served basis. After your approval, you're going to complete construction. Submit your occupancy permit and proof of the renovation costs. You will then rent the suite and comply with the program terms. As for the loan forgiveness part, each year of compliance, 20% of the loan is forgiven. So on a $40,000 loan, you're looking at $8,000 per year is forgiven. And the full loan forgiveness is after 5 years. So the goal of the Secondary Suite Initiative Program is to create affordable rental suites and offer homeowners financial support. But after diving into it, honestly, I found there are some challenges and maybe not as appealing as I thought. So some of the questions that arose for me when I dove into it were, you're of course renting your home below market rates. So it's understanding that other properties in the area would be at market rate. And I'm going to tread lightly when I dive into this, but of course now you are getting a tenant that's maybe in the lower income bracket and considering some challenges around that. Financial instability, personal struggles, including perhaps mental health issues and perhaps substance abuse. Again, I'm not judging based on the tenant's income. However, this is something to keep in mind because this will affect the landlord's enjoyment of the space as you are also residing in this home, because it's got to be your primary residence, right? So it matters who you rent to. Also, after 5 years, your tenant is paying below market rents. Trying to increase that rent or getting that tenant to pay market rent after that 5-year mark will be virtually impossible. In British Columbia, we have rent control, which means that rents are directly tied to inflation, meaning that we can only raise the rents a small amount due to what the inflation rates are. For example, this year it's 3%. So no landlord can raise the tenant's rent more than 3% this year, and they have to give them 3 months notice to do that. Unless your tenant moves out and you get a new tenant in after that 5-year mark, then that's the only way you could really charge market rents, or the rental agreement has to be honored as per the Tenancy Act. So if you are planning to sell this place and the buyer is not interested in moving into the property, that is the buyer or their immediate family, they will have to honor that rental agreement with the current tenant, and it might not be as attractive of a property for them to purchase when the rents are so low and they're not able to bring up the rent to manage their expenses. This could potentially hurt the amount that you can sell your property for. Perceived value for the buyer having a tenant pay such low rents. And of course, the administrative work and the paperwork that goes into it. It might be a little bit overwhelming. Securing permits, complying with the construction and tenancy requirements, maintaining records, submitting proof to comply with the regulations in order to be part of this program. And something that I was thinking about was getting a suite in your home, a secondary suite, a lot of the expenses would occur when the town or city charges double for your sewer, water, and garbage, because now you have a 2-family home. So that is an expense to consider for having that tenant and that suite in there. And I'm sure you have a ton more questions like I do. So I would suggest to talk to BC Housing, talk to your accountant, lawyers, all those experts. I mean, some of the questions I would have: if you sell, do you pay capital gains? Because now it's technically an investment property, it's an income property. Do you pay income tax on the rental income that you make? If you sell within the 5 years, I'm assuming you would have to pay the loan back. What does that look like? And after 5 years, if you want to convert that secondary suite back to personal use, how does that work? And are there tax implications around that? Honestly, I have more questions than answers on this, and I am sure you do as well. It wouldn't be a bad idea to have one of the BC Housing representatives on a podcast with me. I would love to dive into these and get some serious answers. And maybe shoot me your questions and I can compile that together and see what I can do. Hope this was helpful, and we'll chat soon.